Hello everybody and welcome to Level 5, the place where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games and comic books. As of this video coming out, it's officially past the 7th of January 2025, but I'm recording this on Boxing Day 2024. And I've just come home from watching Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with my fiance and best friend James, and it is officially the last movie that I will be watching in this year. So, let's talk about it. So, it is Boxing Day, and I don't have my child. He's over his mother's house for the week. He went over his mum's for Christmas. And Boxing Day, me and the fiance had nothing to do. So my best friend James offered to pay for all three of us to go see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. As kind of like a belated Christmas present, if you will. So I offered to buy the movie snacks, and that's exactly what I did. The journey to the cinema was incredibly foggy, and it took us an hour to cover a 40-minute car journey because it was so foggy. We couldn't see several meters in front of our faces. It was really, really bad, and kudos to my fiance for driving in that extreme thick fog. But anyway, the movie itself. If you're a fan of Shadow the Hedgehog, you're going to like this film. If you're a fan of the Shadow the Hedgehog game that came out on PS2, you're definitely going to like this film. There are small nods to that game, and this film does perfect for Shadow the Hedgehog. It doesn't exactly tell you exactly what happens in his past, but there's enough there for you to, well, it basically gives it to you on a silver spoon, but doesn't give it to you in script, if that makes sense. It's perfect. This film is easily by far the best Sonic the Hedgehog movie there is, and honestly, I'm really glad I ended the year with this movie. It's a fun time, from beginning to end, and this is going to sound a bit harsh, and by all means, I don't hate the human characters in the Sonic franchise. I actually quite enjoy them. Well, I enjoy Tom and his wife. I don't quite like the wife's sister. But they're barely in this film. They have 20 minutes, 25 minutes max. This entire movie is the characters from the games. Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, and of course the Eggmen. Yes, of course from the trailers we know that Eggman meets his grandfather. And I will tell you this, you can tell Jim Carrey had a fucking blast not only betraying Eggman once again, but playing Grandpa Robotnik. It was such a fucking, just a hilarious moments in this film. Watching Jim Carrey talk to Jim Carrey, it was funny as all hell. Not many people found the jokes in this film funny, but I still kind of look at a lot of these movies with a inner child type goggles over my eyes. And honestly, I found a lot of the jokes in this film quite amusing. Especially when it comes from the banter of, like, Knuckles, for example. He still has his Akita Warrior, he's the strongest type attitude, but it kind of comes across as charming, and, you know, some of the banter can be quite witty. Sonic, of course, is a dreamboat. He's an absolute gem of a character, and honestly, I really enjoy the progression from the first Sonic movie to this one. They straight up tell you the issues that Sonic's having in this film, and it's great, I love it. Shadow, of course, is the highlight of this movie. A lot of people were a bit worried that Keanu Reeves was playing Shadow the Hedgehog. Honestly, I completely forgot. It's that well done. Idris Elba, you can kind of tell plays Knuckles every now and then, but honestly, I completely forgot Keanu Reeves was playing Shadow because I was so invested in watching Shadow. He's done really, really well. It's an absolute joy. There's so much of the animals in this film. I'm about to say game then. Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, there's so much of all four of them. They don't have time for the human characters. Sure, the Eggmen do get a lot of time in this movie, but it's also kind of a story, character progression for Eggman. You know, there's some story for him, and I quite like it, actually. Yes, there is some moments I would tweet every now and then, but name a movie that's 100% perfect, let's be honest. There's one, obviously I don't talk about spoilers here, there's one thing in this film that genuinely and utterly took me by surprise. I was not expecting it. It's in the third act. It's during the big final fight. I was not expecting it. It took me by surprise. And I'm so glad they did. It was fucking epic. What a thing. I'm not going to say it, obviously. I'm not spoiling the movie. But holy crap, it's good. There's so much character development in this film. The story-driven aspects in this movie are fantastic. This is such a highlight for me. I'm a huge lover of Sonic. I prefer Sonic over Mario. I'm one of those weird people, I know. And I really do enjoy the older Sonic games, but I also grew up on the PS2, PS3 era Sonic games. You know, Sonic Generation, Sonic Colors, Sonic the Hedgehog, and things like this. And this movie really does make me feel nostalgic for those games as well. Again, if you really did like Shadow the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the game, or if you enjoyed the Shadow the Hedgehog game, if you enjoyed the very first game where you play as Tails and Knuckles and things like this, there's so many games way back that kind of reminisce from this movie. There's one nitpick I have, and that's the way that Grandpa Robotnik, the very last scene with him in it. That's just a bit like, okay, sure. That's like my major nitpick. Please be warned, there are 2 end credit scenes. The second one is just to tell you, hey, this is continuing. This particular thing that we've done in this movie, it's continuing. The first end credit scene literally tells you what the next movie is. There's going to be a 4th one, and I'm so looking forward to it. What they did, and I kind of understand why they did Shadow first before they did what they've done for the 4th film. This film is just fun. It's so much action, so much adventure, and there's a lot more at stake here. Like I said, the human characters like Tom and his wife and stuff are barely in it. They are, and their scenes are actually generally funny in this. I actually prefer their scenes in this than any of the other films. This film had the best scenes with Tom and her in it. I can't remember her name. And I think that's because they were barely in it, so it made me appreciate their scenes a bit more. Knuckles and Tails are fantastic. I can't get over how good they look in this movie, like the CGI and stuff. Shadow looks incredible. Oh my god. Every scene with Shadow in it is just absolutely... I was on the edge of my seat a lot of the time with Shadow. Shadow's my favourite Sonic character of all time. I know that's very cliche and mundane and boring for me to say, but he is. And they nailed him. I, as a Shadow fan, am very happy the way that Shadow was done. I can't wait to do my review on this movie, and there will be a ranking of the Sonic films coming soon. I'm so looking forward to talking more about Shadow. He was done really, really well. That being said, of course, let me know if you did watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in cinema. And of course, there is one more out of the cinema review from 2024, but I didn't watch it in 2024. I'm actually watching it on New Year's Day, but the movie came out in 2024, so I'm going to count it as a 2024 out of cinema experience, if that makes sense. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Let me know what you guys think of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Did you guys go see it in cinema? Is it your cup of tea? What do you guys think of Shadow and Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow? This film is just so good, and it's now my favourite Sonic movie, honestly. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell if you guys haven't already. Don't forget to roar of passion, everybody. Of course, I love you all, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye.